The first thing I noticed was the silence. Not the peaceful kind you get out in the country or after a fresh snowfall. This was different, hollow, heavy, and then the sky changed. That's when I knew. This wasn't just a blackout. Something else had come with the dark. I remember the exact moment the lights went out. Not just the living room lamp or the blinking cable box, but everything. I was watching reruns of some dumb sitcom, half asleep on the couch with a bowl of stale popcorn in my lap. 1 second, the canned laughter echoed through the room, and then silence. Not just quiet, but the kind of silence that sucks the air out of your lungs, the kind that doesn't feel natural. I glanced at the TV, now a black mirror reflecting my own confusion. The ceiling fan stuttered to a stop. My phone, when I picked it up, wouldn't turn on. I pressed the power button over and over. Nothing. Dead. I thought maybe a fuse blew. I went outside and saw the whole neighborhood standing in their driveways like confused ants. No porch lights, no headlights on the road, no buzzing street lamps humming in the warm summer air, and that was only the first 5 minutes. By the end of the first day, we all knew something was wrong. Not just a power outage, not a grid failure. Something bigger, more complete. The radio in my old truck, a 1995 Ford, wouldn't even crackle. My neighbor Jerry tried to crank his hand-powered radio. Silence. People thought maybe it was a massive solar flare. Others whispered words like EMP and war. No one knew. But one thing became terrifyingly clear. Anything that ran on electricity or electronics was dead. Irrevocably, like it never existed. Airplanes fell from the sky that first hour. I heard the crash around 3 a.m., a low rumble that ended in a sharp, concussive boom. The night sky lit orange for a moment, just over the hills, beyond the trees. I didn't sleep after that. 3 days in, the town turned feral. No communication, no deliveries. The gas station down the road had its windows smashed, and the inside stripped bare. People looted the pharmacy within hours. We had no police force anymore. Radios didn't work, and even their old squad cars with push-button ignitions wouldn't start. Some people said the cops just went home to protect their families. I can't blame them. I did the same. I lived on the edge of town, tucked behind a stretch of woods that gave my property a cozy, isolated feeling. It felt less cozy now, more like a trap. I had an old shotgun from my grandfather. 2 boxes of shells. That was it. I started sleeping in the living room with the curtains drawn, the gun across my lap. No phone, no light, just silence. By the end of the first week, the night sky was black. Not dark, black, pitch and endless. Without streetlights, without city glow, the stars should have been brilliant, but they weren't. They were gone. I noticed it on the 5th night, looked up and saw nothing, no moon, no stars. Just a thick, oily void, like a ceiling, like the sky was painted over. The animals noticed too. The coyotes stopped howling, birds stopped singing. Even the insects, the constant summer buzz of crickets and cicadas, vanished. There was no sound in the night, not even wind, just the dark. Then the dreams started. Not normal dreams, not nightmares either, something worse. The first one came like a memory I never lived. I was in my living room, sitting in the exact spot I had fallen asleep in. But everything was off. Like a replica made by someone who had only read about furniture and human faces in a book. Shadows moved on the walls, even though there was no light. Shapes passed across the windows like tall, spindly things on stilts, and my own reflection in the TV didn't move when I did. It just stared at me, grinning. When I woke up, I was soaked in sweat. The house felt colder than usual, even in July. Something was breathing behind me. I spun around. Nothing, just the empty hallway. But I swear to God, something exhaled. More dreams followed, each one worse than the last. Sometimes I was underground, crawling through cramped, root-choked tunnels. Sometimes I was outside, naked and alone, under that empty black sky. Only now it pulsed, like a giant heart. And sometimes I wasn't dreaming at all. One night I woke to the sound of tapping, soft, rhythmic. Tap, tap, tap. I sat up on the couch. The sound was coming from the back door, the one that led to the woods. I hadn't opened that door in a week. I crept over with my shotgun, pressed my ear to the wood. Silence. Then a whisper. Let me in. It wasn't a voice I recognized. Not male, not female. Just wrong. The cadence was off. The way it shaped the words. It sounded like something trying to mimic speech, like it had listened to humans and was trying it out for the first time. La, ma, in. I didn't open the door. The whisper turned into scratching, long nails or claws dragging across the wood. Then a low clicking noise, like bones being popped into place. I stayed perfectly still. The sound stopped after an hour. I didn't sleep again. The next day I found prints in the dirt behind the house. Bare feet. But the toes were long, too long, and there were too many of them. 12. I counted. 12 toes. I stopped counting the days after that. What was the point? Then I heard the signal. I was outside chopping wood just to give myself something to do, keep from going mad. And I heard it. A faint static sound. Like an old TV turned on with no signal. It came from the trees. I dropped the axe and followed the sound, deeper and deeper into the woods. I don't know why. Something about it pulled at me, like a memory I couldn't place. Eventually, I found the source. A figure. It stood between two trees, tall and thin, like its limbs had been stretched. Its skin was mottled, sickly grey, and its head was bald and smooth like porcelain. No eyes, just sockets, and it was vibrating. That's where the static came from. Its entire body buzzed and clicked like it was full of dying electronics. As I stared, it tilted its head toward me like it was listening to a distant voice. Then it opened its mouth. Inside was light. Not warm or bright. Cold, sterile, flickering light. Like a dead screen twitching back to life. I ran. I didn't stop until I was back home, doors locked, windows boarded. I didn't go outside again. They came at night. The scratching, the whispers, the static. It wasn't just one creature now. It was many. I'd see them from the windows standing at the edge of the woods, staring, waiting. Sometimes they'd move like broken marionettes, limbs jerking at wrong angles. Sometimes they'd just twitch. One night, they surrounded the house. I counted at least 6, all tall, grey, and humming with that horrible dry buzz. I didn't know if they could get in, but I knew I couldn't last forever. That's when the reflection came back. I passed the black TV screen in the hallway and saw it again. Me, but not me. It grinned and whispered, "Let them in." I smashed the screen with the butt of the shotgun. The static in the woods got louder, almost angry. I started losing time. I'd wake up in different rooms. Doors I'd locked would be open. One morning, I found muddy prints inside the kitchen. 12 toes. The same as before. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the video I found, tucked in a manila envelope on the porch. No markings, no address, just the words, "Play me." I had no way to play it. It was a VHS tape. But the second I touched it, the static in the air surged. And then the TV, my broken, shattered TV, flickered on. The screen buzzed, glitched, and then played the tape. I watched myself sleeping. From above, like security camera footage. Then a long grey hand reached into frame. It caressed my hair gently. I flinched, recoiling. But on the screen, I didn't move. Just kept sleeping. Then frame by frame, the figure climbed onto the couch and lay beside me, spooning me like a lover. It stared at the camera with those empty sockets and grinned. The screen cut to black. I burned the tape, and the TV, and half the living room. I live in the attic now. A small window faces the woods. I watch them watch me. They don't speak anymore. They don't need to. I know what they want. They want the whole world dark, forever. And I think they're almost done. Because last night I saw smoke on the horizon, big columns like cities burning, and the stars, those dead, distant lights, briefly flickered back into view. But they were wrong, twisted. They blinked in patterns, almost like code, almost like eyes, watching, waiting. If anyone finds this, know that electricity was never just science. It was warmth, life, a barrier, a signal that we were still here, still human, still safe. Now it's gone, and what lived in the static isn't. They live in the silence now. They wear your face. Don't trust the mirrors. Don't trust the sky. And whatever you do, don't let them in.